What's shaking, guys? My name is Luke Dancy. It is Tuesday, and we are joined today by a very special guest all the way from the other side of the pond over in beautiful France. We are going to be chatting today with Mr. Boris Wild. He has some exciting new stuff that he's going to be releasing very soon, and he has another thing that's going to be coming out a little bit after that. But today we're going to be talking all about his brand new 2-DVD set, which is called Sensations. Boris Wild is not only a very talented performer, but he's also known as a very talented creator of magic, too. If you don't know this, he won FISM. He crushed it. He killed it. He kissed it, I guess, because he did his kiss act, which is really, really fun to watch if you've never seen it. I think you can find it on YouTube. But today we're going to be answering all of your questions about his brand new DVD set. If you have those questions, feel free to just start dropping them in. We're going to be here for about the next 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. He said he's got about an hour. So hang tight. I'm going to show you the trailer for this right now. And I'm going to share this on my own Facebook page here and all that fun stuff. So guys, we're going to have a great time today with Mr. Boris Wild. He's joining us live right now all the way from the other side of the world. So let's check out the trailer right now for his brand new 2-DVD set. We'll be back with Boris in just a minute. Get ready, kick back, relax. Let's have fun for a little bit. Here we go. There you go, my friends. You just saw the trailer, and now you were seeing the man himself, Mr. Boris Wild, joining me here. What's up, man?
Hey, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. I want to say thanks again for joining us today. We've got a lot of friends starting to tune in here on Facebook, so excited today to have you joining us, all the way from the other side of the pond. I know it's later in the day, so thank you for being here.
My pleasure. You're welcome. Happy to be with you guys.
It is really good to have you here. We've got some friends joining us here. I want to give some hellos along the way. I see Mr. Mark Waddington out there. How are we doing? Mark, good to see you, sir.
Hey, hello, Mark. Bonjour.
Bring in our buddy Rich Picone is here. He's hanging out watching. So if you guys have questions about what you just saw on this brand new trailer that you've never seen, this is like a little exclusive today because we haven't actually released the product. This is going to be really fun. Now, Boris, it's been a while since you've actually released a product. This has been a little while. I know you've been busy performing, lecturing, all that fun stuff. So why now? Why decide to drop a new project? What's been going on with you? I'm guessing you've been busy out performing this stuff, but let's hear from you. What's been going on?
Well, yeah, I mean it's called Sensations. So this project is linked to a lecture. So I just came up with this new lecture. Very recently, and I just got this offer just to make this new product, so to make these 2 DVD sets, and it's always nice when you lecture so that people can have not like, you can have lecture notes, which is fine, but they have like super, I would say, lecture notes on steroids, I would say. So it's like 2 discs, cool. Like 3 hours, and they get like, everything they just saw in the lecture, they can go back home and just see it again and practice. And so, and I've not released like DVDs for a long time. If you just follow a little bit my work, I just came up with a lot of stuff, but I didn't release I don't release so many products, in fact. So, I did the DVDs like 10 years ago with LNL. So it was like my big 3 DVD set. But since then, I just released different things. But it was time just to put together some of my latest creations, and that's why we just released Sensations now with you guys.
Loving it. And it is great to have you back on the magic scene. You do put out stuff not that often, so when you do put something out, people definitely sit up and take notice because they know the name Boris Wild And if they don't, well, then they do now. We have this revolving door, don't we, when it comes to new magicians in the industry? But you are someone that's had longevity over a very long time. How long has it been since you won FISM? How long has that been?
FISM was in 97. So, yeah, I know.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Time flies, right?
So it's been, more than 20 years now. But, but I've been very lucky that since then I have always, tried to come up with new material. Yeah. Even if I didn't release like so much or as much as maybe other magicians, here, I mean, I was lecturing all the time for the last 20 years. I always come up with new stuff and new products, like every year. And so, so I just try to change my material in the lecture every, I'd say like 3 years, maybe cool. Sometimes 4, but usually it's every 3 years. But I just try to renew material all the time also. And so, but sometimes it's also good just to, put everything on camera, on video.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Not everybody can see your lecturing. So it's a good opportunity for everyone just to, be able to see the stuff.
Well, speaking of seeing your stuff, I'm just going to pull up the product page that I have access to. These guys don't have it yet. Checking out the, what exactly is on this project. There's a lot of stuff. Speaking about the new project here, Sensations, give the guys an idea of what exactly they're going to find on this. I know that you mentioned this has been lecture material, right? This is stuff you've only shared so far at lectures, or am I wrong about that?
Well, it's what's on Sensations. It's basically all my latest creations. Okay. And there's a couple of things I just released over the last maybe 1 or 2 years that have not been on video or like described that way. So I just wanted to also include that. So it's not part of Sensations, but it's a bonus. So people can also get everything from the latest creations I just produced and from the lecture, but also a few other things that were like in between my, I would say, latest video projects and this particular one now. So and it's called Sensations because basically, yes, that's my idea, is just to how can you create magical sensations on the audience. So that's the goal of the routines explained there.
Love it. Matteo Declau, I don't speak very good French, says that Boris is a great person. And that is one thing that I've noticed in my time in magic, is that you're just a very likable, good guy. And, your material goes along with that for sure.
Thank you.
Had a nice question. Well, this is specific to the product, or the project, I should say. This is from Joe Steele. He would like to know if you could explain and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, your version of card at any number. It's called Puracan?
Puracan, yeah. Puracan.
Could you explain that a little bit? Because that is something that I believe you've included on here, if I'm not mistaken here.
Yes. Well, it's one of the main, I would say, pieces from this DVD set, of course. Okay. There's a story behind Puracan, which is, I think it's quite interesting. I released several years ago ACAB, any card at any birthday.
That's good, man.
Yeah. And it's been really, I've been very lucky about this one. It's been really successful. I got so many great reviews from, everybody in the world. So I was very happy with that routine. And again, it's one of the things, it's one of my babies. I said, if one day I'm not in this world anymore, I would just like to be remembered for a couple of things. And ACAB would be one of them, I hope. So that's one the thing I would love, but it's been really successful. And so lots of people ask me, say, oh my God, can you just show us, can you perform? And it's such a nice and specific routine that I can do it in close up, but it's worth being staged. It's worth being in parlor conditions or on stage with people with the right conditions. So you can see like the full potential of the routine. So I was like, yeah, I can do it in close up, but I would prefer just to see it like, live on stage or like with the real conditions. So it was a little bit frustrating to say I cannot do it. So I said, well, I should come up with any card at any number routine that I can do in close-up too. And that would be great that I can do it like anytime. Like even if someone just say, hey, can you just show it to me? It's like, I have nothing on me. Well, do you have a deck? Oh yeah. Oh, can I borrow one? Okay, good. So it's any card, any number. It's a borrowed deck. It's a shuffle deck. It's any card. And it's any number. No restriction, no force, No equivoking, no whatsoever. Not like, this is the red, this is the black, you show me one hand. No, no. This is your deck, you shuffle it. Do you have any idea of the order of the cards? No, of course nobody knows. Tell me a number, tell me a card.
Really?
I count the card very slowly, one by one, under their nose. You can burn my hand. They can film with the iPhone if they want. And very clearly, the only move I do is this. I turn my hand over to show, the 21st card, if they say 21, I don't know. And it happens to be the card that they just named. And that's it. And I trust me, people who saw it can confirm, and hopefully maybe some people who just saw it maybe a little bit could confirm it here on the live, but this is what it looks like, and this is exactly what happens.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not kidding.
I haven't had a chance to watch the new project yet. Owen did send me a preview copy to look at, but I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't had a chance to see it yet. I'm doing that after this. I have to learn that right now.
And the good thing about that trick is that last year I performed at this wonderful convention called Tricks in Charlotte. Yeah. Yes. Scott Robinson is doing this convention, running the convention. It's a great convention. Yeah. And every year they just elect Trick of the Year. And I was very, very lucky just to get Trick of the Year last year with Pure I Can. So that was like...
That's cool.
That was pretty cool, and I'm really happy. And the response so far has been really, really nice. Like, I just performed a couple of days ago to friends in Paris,
nice.
Magicians, and they were like, we have no idea, Boris, just where is it? I'm like, yeah, it's on Sensations DVD. Wait, it's going to be soon.
Anthony Heaton says, I've seen Boris do his any card at any number over 20 times, and it is that clean. That's cool. That's really cool.
Oh my God, Anthony, hi, bonjour.
I'm guessing you know each other, right? I guess.
I did a big lecture tour in the UK in March.
Okay.
Anthony and Toby, just organized it, and it was great. I mean, they are great people, and they did such a great job. And yes, and they followed me a couple of times, and they saw me perform it. Like
magic stalkers, Boris. You have magic stalkers, huh?
No,
or groupies. We'll call them groupies. Magic groupies, yeah. Following you around. Do that thing. That's funny.
Well, the good thing is that trick, I can do it 20 times because it's always, of course, different cards, different numbers,
right.
Different people. So, yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it.
Love it. Well, it sounds like it's definitely one of the main highlights from the new Sensations project.
Well, yes. Sure. It's linked to another routine called Symbiosis. It's both routines share the same principle. And so, but this other routine is one of my favorite too. It's something that I perform at the Magic Castle when I do when I perform in the close-up gallery. So, this is also something I've always done. I always release things that I do for a living. I'm not releasing stuff to say, hey, buy my DVD. What you see on the DVD is when you see me at the Magic Castle, that's what I do. And when you buy the DVD, you can see it. So it's just how I work. I cannot lecture or release stuff that I don't do. Because I think people see that.
Yeah.
People see you, and it's like not something that you do on a regular basis. Doesn't work for me.
No, I mean, it's also your name on it. Like you've been around this industry for a very long time. People would be savvy to that. If you started doing that, people talk. If you just started putting out crap, let's just put it that way.
Well, that's my thing. I mean, it's been 20 years now. Touring the world, releasing products and stuff. And I don't release so many things, but that's maybe also a little strategy from me that says, well, maybe I will release 1 or 2 things every year, not like 20, but you can buy them. I mean, I know that some of my, friends or people I meet and they enjoy my work and they say, hey, you got a new stuff. They have no idea. They say, okay, put one aside for me or send in 1 copy for me. They don't even know, but they say, so far we have not been really disappointed, with your work because I put a lot of thoughts, and that's why maybe I don't release so much because I'm never happy with the thing.
That's fair, man.
And I always, it is. Yeah. That's the idea. Just always come up with something with thought. Yeah.
Robin says he teased me. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. It's Robin de Oh God, Robin. He says.
I think it's Robin de Villebichot. Yes.
Yes. Thank
Bonjour,
you.
Robin.
Thank you. Robin says that you teased him on the phone about this trick before your lecture, and when you performed it, it was like, what just happened? So obviously he saw that and
Good.
was
Yes.
like blown away by it.
Well, I remember he came to the lecture, and yes, I mean, I know Robin, and he's, yeah, he told me on the phone before, so, what is this new thing you do in your lecture? I'm like, yeah, I cannot really say too much, but this is it. And he's like, nah, it's impossible. It cannot be that way. I'm like, yeah, come to the lecture. He came to the lecture.
Love it.
And he was like, okay, well.
Love it. So, we have another question popping in here. There's a couple of specific ones, about if there's something on here. Our buddy Daniel Ricks wants to know, is there a perfect open prediction on this new project? Did you include anything like that on here? Any type of open prediction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's another interesting story, I think. I released a few years ago something called Perfect Open Prediction.
Yeah.
And it's a plot I've always loved. And we're a magician, so of course, any card, any number, open prediction are like, these mythical routines that, it's always fun to work on, of course. And so, yes, after any card, any number, I said, well, maybe I should work on open prediction now. So I studied so many versions. I booked like Thomas Baxter's book, and of course, just made some research on Stuart James and like all these, crazy theories around his open prediction. And I came up to Perfect Open Prediction. So it's called POP, in fact.
Okay.
Perfect Open Prediction. And so I always say, I don't know if it's perfect from the magician's point of view, but for the spectator's point of view, it is exactly what it should look like.
Got it.
So without saying too much, you need like a little gimmick thing in the deck, and so to make it completely automatic. So there's no manipulation. You can do it straight away, very easy. And the impact is boom. And so on Sensations, I just released a version with absolutely no gimmick, no preparation. It can be a borrowed deck on the fly. So I can borrow a deck like this,
Wow. All
and
right.
immediately within the next 5 seconds, I'm able to perform the same effect, which is nice. It's exactly the same effect as if you know Perfect Open Prediction,
Yeah.
you can do the same. But for those of you who know exactly how it works, well, it's a borrowed deck, and you don't have to get it like 5 minutes before. You just get it now, and you do it straight away.
That's
So
awesome.
it's a little more technical, of course.
All right.
That's of course you get something in return. Of course, it cannot be like absolutely like no manipulation, automatic, blah blah blah. But it's worth it, and
Sounds
it's called
great.
iPop.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's called iPop now for impromptu Perfect Open Prediction. So it's also on the Sensations
Cool.
DVD sets. Mm-hmm.
Since we're talking about other things that are on the project, or actually the same guy, Daniel Ricks wants to also know what different effects are on this project. Now, we've mentioned any card, any number. You just mentioned an open prediction. What other type of effects can people find on the new project, the Sensations project?
Well, mostly it's, yes, I mean, like there's like 7 main routines, I would say, and there's like a couple, other ones that are, shown in like with different variations, I would say too. So yes, mainly you got like this, I would say this, plots in Magic, like you got any card, any number, of course, with Pure Arcane. Symbiosis also is something which is in the same spirit, but with 2 decks and a prediction. So you got like it's like a double can. So because I'm French, it's a can.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. Love it.
So yes, you got a can, but with a coincidence and a prediction, which is, I think, kind of fun, and it's very strong. This is the routine I perform at a castle. Pure Arcane, of course, that got Trick of the Year. You got this iPop thing. You've got also another routine, which is a lot of fun that I like to do also in Parlor, which is called Blind. Blind is it's basically a routine where you are blindfolded during the entire time. And it's not like you do something and at the end you get blindfolded. No. You just borrow a deck again.
Okay.
And you get this, blindfold that you get in the plane. And from the beginning you get blindfolded. So nothing has happened yet. I get blindfolded and I do the entire routine like basically pick a card effect and I find it. But it's in impossible conditions because I'm blindfolded, there's no force, any card is taken, put it back, the guy shuffle his own deck, I get the cards back, I can't see a thing, I cut down the card and I produce it. That's basically it. So, and it's a fun version of the 5 senses. So I'm trying to find the card with 5 senses. So not the eyes, not the sight because of course I'm blindfolded, but I'm trying with the trying to smell and hear and touch and finally taste. And I can find the card with the taste.
All right.
So it's a fun version. If you do like cabaret and parlor and comedy, it's a really fun routine to do. So it's not only close up, like most of the things I do on Sensations can be performed in parlor conditions. So that's
cool. I was going to ask you that next. What's the kind of setting for this? So, I mean, you could do it close up too, right? I mean, this stuff could be performed close up, but it can also play bigger, which is a very good point. I'm glad you just said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw that. I mean, I've been like a regular, a guest at 4F for the last 20 years. Wow. And I could see that it's 4F, it's a close-up convention. But I could see that over the years that more and more people now are working without the table or in front of the table. So it's close-up as getting a little bigger recently. And of course, my magic has been, pretty much the same now. I mean, it's just, it's easier just to perform it like in more, like in bigger venues. And most people, of course, ask also, say, oh, can you do something like in front of the guests? And so, yeah, and that's the kind of routines that you can perform and Sensations. So you can find both, I would say. Close up, like purely close up, but some of those fit the parlor conditions perfectly.
Dig it. Yeah, I mean, this is great because it's, a lot of people want to know, oh, well, if I just do this is just stuff that's going to play small. But, a lot of things like that do come down to presentation, too, at the end of the day, right? I mean, when it comes down to how something plays, a lot of it comes down to how you present it to people. And it sounds like you're not just giving them tricks here, but you're giving them full-blown routines to go with these tricks. Is that right?
Yes. Well, that's usually, I think in Sensations, this is the kind of thing which is even more, I would say, truer than for other material before. When I released stuff on the Mark deck, it was also the idea. It was the idea of just to giving you a tool, which is like a thumb tip, and you can do like hundreds, thousands of things with it. And of course, you can do the routines I show you, but also you can, work on your own routines using the deck and come up with a different way to perform or your own routines. On Sensation is pretty much the same. I also include on Sensation something which is called 10 Max. And 10 Max is basically the roots is a 10-card poker deal, but it's not done with regular standard card. You don't end up with a royal flush and like a crappy hand, for the other one. It's blank faces on which you have like numbers, you can have letters, you can have pictures, you can have ESP signs, you can have like anything. And it's based on a wonderful principle by Paul Gordon. And so, but what I love in Magic is just to take something that, I've seen like so many times, like the Mark deck, like the 10-card poker deal, and bring it to another level, I would say, or just to take it to another way, something that, has not been done before. And so 10 Max is a great project also on Sensations because it starts with a trick, which is a fun trick of money. And then you see, hey, you can do like storytelling. Oh, and then you can do trick for kids. Oh, and then you can do mentalism. Oh, and then you can do a game. It's all based on the same principle, but you can perform it like 10 times in front of the guys. They will not see it's the same because it's the presentation and everything is just so different around.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm so excited about, someone like you when you release stuff. You're not just giving them, here's a trick. Here's just something for you to do. It's always very well thought out with everything that you do. So.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's also why I think it takes a little more time for me to release stuff.
That's
because
if
it was just one trick, I just say, oh, this is the trick. Okay, this is the card. Boom, look, it's moving this way. And hope it changes perfect. Which is great. I mean, there are some really good routines and some really good gimmicks and, where you can only do one thing with it, but if it does it well, perfect. I just love principles. I just love to give you keys and also it also helps you just to think by yourself and say, oh, I can do the routine like the way he showed us, but, my main clients are like, I don't know, like computer stuff or I am a bizarrist or this and that. And then they think, oh yeah, like for 10 Max, it's a money thing. You get, the more you get the winning card, the more you get money, the more you get bills. Perfect. But like I did it recently and that guy was like, oh, I'm a bizarrist. So I'm going to do that with living and dead people. and I'm going to have like something on the table and draw lines. So this is the ground, and this is over the ground, and all the dead people will finish in the ground, and all the living people will be on top. I was like, perfect. You just got the idea. I mean, the lecture was not finished yet. He was already thinking, oh, I can use this principle in a different way.
Cool.
And this is what I love. This is what I love.
The evolution, man. It's all about the evolution. I love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of evolution, you're talking a little bit about performing that you do, which is, if people don't know, Boris is a real world worker. Like, he's someone that's actually out there doing this stuff. As he mentioned, he does corporate work, which is, legit. I think that's actually what's bringing you here to Vegas in August, right? You're going to be doing some work out here for a conference or something, or is that more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I will do some lectures. Yes, I will be in Vegas in August for sure. For at least for lecturing. That's true. And I've got some a couple of appointments, maybe some projects on the way, which can be cool. And I'll be at the Magic Castle just before, so that's gonna be like
nice.
Legit work, because it's gonna be another 30 something shows to do.
That's cool.
There, which I love to do. I just love to perform there. So,
well, speaking of performing, this is a very big question, and this is one I'm actually curious about too.
Mm-hmm.
Our buddy Nigel, he's got a little bit of French in here that I'm not going to pretend I would insult that. I'll just say what I know how to say. Bonjour, Boris. Salutations, something. Any plans to go on France's Got Talent? Of course, the Got Talent series, you are a very well-known French magician. Do you have any plans, or is that not really for you, doing something like that? That's a good question.
Yeah, well, that's a very good question indeed. Not that I've never thought about it, but my friends are watching the live now, and if they're like, they can say if I lie or not, which I would not do, of course, because I don't do that, even if I'm a magician.
A magician never lies.
It's honest liar in a way. Yes. Well, I thought about this, but the problem is that Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent are quite huge. They're quite big shows.
Oh, yeah.
Not that France's Got Talent is not big, but it's not as big as Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent. Like the best proof is that like some people from France just did Britain's Got Talent. My good friend Marc Metral, the ventriloquist, did it. Some other guys just went to America's Got Talent too, I know recently, from France.
Okay.
So it's not as big in France. It's not as well respected, I would say. Well, the good thing is that last year we got Antonio, a good friend of mine who is a mentalist, and we won France's Got Talent. So like he was, the first.
Cool.
We got another one, Eric Antoine. He didn't win, but he's now a superstar in France. He's very, very famous, one of the most famous magicians in France now. So he just went to France's Got Talent, and it just opened the door to him. The thing is that I'm more a magician that needs to install a character, a mood, and atmosphere. If you see the Kisak, for instance, and you know what I mean, it's about emotion, it's about this, and the format is like, okay, you have 2 minutes to kill the guy and just fool them, or just, whatever, just mock them in a way, I would say, which is funny for me to say if I mock people. So,
sure.
And it's, you have to be like spectacular, you have to be fast, you have to be, and I don't think this is my style, unfortunately. So I could do it, but I'm pretty sure that it would not particularly fit the format of the TV show.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's probably why I've never done it, and I probably why I will not do it.
Well, we're talking about the different styles and stuff for the TV shows. Let's take a look at the project again, the Sensations project.
Oui.
Styles. There's a lot of different types of magicians out there. We have people that are just beginning, people that have been around it, and people that do this full time, like yourself. The material that's on here, who do you think it's best suited for? Because we have all these different people. If we have people in each one of these groups going, man, this sounds great, but can I do it? Or is this going to be way over my head? Like, who is this for, the new DVD set?
Honestly, it's, I'm not known to be like I would say like finger breaking or whatever you call that.
Monkey,
yeah. Yes. So yeah, I'm not known like to have like the, like the invisible pass and the palming and things. So it's not the kind of techniques. I mean, I do them when I need them, but it's not what I'm known for. I'm not using them a lot, to be honest. I'm just trying to get rid of a maximum of techniques I can, because I'm known to be a card magician, and nobody's perfect, but but yes, I love cards. I just don't want to do card tricks. I want to do magic with cards. And it's, for me, it's the two opposite thing. I mean, some people do card tricks and some people do magic with cards. I don't want to do card tricks. And in order to avoid card tricks, I try to avoid as much as I can techniques. Because, if you do something that is very pure, like this Akan routine, when you see this Akan routine, the pure Akan, it looks like I'm doing nothing. Of course I'm doing a little something, but from the spectator's point of view, it looks like they will all say, well, the guy did nothing. I shuffled my deck. He just say, well, tell me a card, tell me a number. Yeah, he counted the card one by one, and I burned his hand. I didn't see a thing, and he just slowly moved his hand, turning over to show the card at the position. That's it. So, yes, there is a little technique, of course, involved here, a little hidden, but you don't see it. And so that's what I like to do. And it doesn't mean that it's complicated techniques that we need to hide, and it takes a lot of practice.
Right.
No, usually it's when you see the effect that the explanation will be like, damn it. But that's what I like. Just that's what I love, because you just see the thing, you're fooled, and you get the explanation. You're like, I love it because it's simple, but it works.
Yep.
And it doesn't require months to practice. So I would say that Sensations is made for, like, I would say beginners, but like if you already have a little,
little knowledge,
base, knowledge and basis of, all the stuff that you do in card magic. But it's definitely there's definitely something for everyone, because there are routines here with absolutely zero technique, like nothing, absolutely. And some others are little techniques, like the perfect open prediction routine is more advanced, but some other ones are like not really difficult to do at all. So it's. Yeah, and if you know my work, for people who just bought my stuff earlier, they know that they will not suddenly find like, oh my god, 3 passes, 60 in outstraddle pharaohs in a row. Oh my god, how can I do that?
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
this is a very kind of generic question, but I'm going to ask this from John Czar. John wants to know, Boris, are your DVDs synchronized, or is it you who speaks on them? I ask because I have seen many Magic DVDs with bad synchronization, and you couldn't understand a word. So, yeah, is that you talking on there, or do you have some VO stuff or something going on there?
No, it doesn't look like an old kung fu movies from the 70s with like, oh, I'm gonna do that. Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah.
So I'm not doing that. So.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm just doing it like in English with my French accent. I always say I apologize for the French accent, unless you find this a bit sexy, of course.
Well, speaking of French people, someone else just popped up here. Michael Chatelaine just showed up saying, "Oh, two genius, two friends, really happy." And Michael is just an incredible guy as well. Nice to have him pop up here. Good to see you, Mr. Chatelaine.
Hey, hi, bonjour.
He's another good guy. So yeah.
So yes, no, it's me talking the entire time. So yeah,
cool. And this
is my best.
And people are starting to say that they want to pick this up and they want to get it. This is technically not out at the moment. If I'm not mistaken, I think the pre-sale date is the 15th. Is that what you know? I think that's what it is. The 15th for the Sensations DVD. So is that next Friday? I think.
Yeah, I think it was it 25th or
I think that's the release.
Tell me maybe.
I think the pre-sale is before that, and then we're going to do the release after that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think the pre-sale.
I mean, that's what.
Next Friday, yeah. So that is.
I think that's what Owen told me. Yeah.
And we'll keep posting up. We'll keep posting stuff up and letting people know and making sure that they don't miss out on that because and that's the other cool thing about doing this is we can refer people to this. They can get all their questions answered. If this is for them or not, and so this is always a really fun thing to do. It's fun to chat with other magicians out there, but it's also good for other people to kind of ask the questions they want to know and to learn more about this stuff. So. This definitely helps. Chris Ronick has a good question. He wants to know, is there a stack necessary? So I guess we have a lot of different effects here. Do you have any stack work on here, or are there any stacks necessary for the effects?
No. For Sensations, no. I don't use.
Cool.
I don't really. I mean, I used to. Yes, in my book on the mark deck, I just released like a I would say like an easy, very easy memorized deck. So I like to work with stack too, but for sensations, the other thing is that there's nothing on the monk deck, sensations at all, and there's no stack, no memorize. So it's pretty much,
Okay.
straightforward, just a regular deck, and just maybe you need a couple of like extra little things that everybody has at home. But other than that,
cool.
No, it's just like, no stack.
I was also going to ask you a question here that you and I kind of tiptoed around this a little bit before we went live today. Nigel wants
we have time. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
We're
going over the 30-minute mark. So appreciate it.
Yeah. Anytime.
Nigel wants to know, any plans to visit the UK soon? Blackpool 2019. You and I kind of talked about that, but do you have any plans popping up over there in Blackpool?
Well, maybe. I don't know about Blackpool 2019. I might go maybe as a visitor. So far I'm not booked there. So I can do a little exclusive now because nobody knows, but I'll be at FISM next month, as a guest performer. So nobody knows so far, but now it's an exclusive for Murphy's.
Well,
but Blackpool, I don't know yet. I mean, I did the lecture tour in the UK in last March.
Cool.
So I did all UK up to Scotland for like a full month.
Oh, wow.
And I was in Blackpool, of course, but for the club. And so that's also where I could, perform all the effects from sensations. And so people can have a little preview of it live, I would say.
Cool.
And so I don't know yet if I'll be back in the UK, but hopefully I got some really great reviews from the material of sensations. So, and I can say something. I mean, it's not like I don't want to brag or anything, but I was so proud, and I almost cried when I heard that, because I did the lecture, The Magic Circle, and Mr. Marvin Burglass, because I say Mr.
Oh wow, here we go.
Oh my God, Mr. Marvin Burglass told me, and even wrote me on a paper, it was one of the best lectures they've had.
Wow.
And basically that lecture is, the material from this lecture is this Sensations DVD set. So I don't say that to say, hey, look, it's the best, blah, blah. No, I was just so shocked and stunned because, I mean, performing or lecturing at the Magic Circle, it's a big thing already.
Yeah, sure.
But then having Mr. Marvin Burglass say something to you at the end of your lecture, it's like, I was like, honestly, I almost cried in my dressing room after, like, oh my God, yeah, okay, I can die now. Not that I want that, but it was just such a huge honor from him.
That's amazing.
That, totally unexpected, but so I guess if someone like Mr. Burglass, like the material, you should probably like what's on the DVD set too.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Just maybe, I don't know, maybe, hopefully.
You did mention FISM as well. I wanted to say this. One of our other viewers, Mr. Eric Chen, who is an amazing coin magician. He does very good card work too. Eric Chen says, big fan of Boris, as I am. And he says, hope to see him at FISM and Luke come to FISM. So he's actually going to be competing at FISM, Eric is. And,
Eric.
Yeah,
wow.
he's amazing. Cool. So we're definitely pulling for him.
Good luck, man. I'll be in the room just to cheer for you.
That's got to be one amazing feeling. And we don't have to go too deep into this, Boris, because I know that's not why we're here, but how did it feel to win FISM? You know, as a magician, I've grown up around this stuff. I've looked up to people like you for a very long time. How does that feel? So that's like the Olympics of magic. If people don't know, it's basically the equivalent of winning the gold medal at the Olympics. Can you describe that feeling, or let me know how you felt before? How did you feel before when you were gonna do your contest, the act, and how did you feel after? Because it has to be this big whirlwind of emotion, I'm sure.
I mean, I've been, in magic for like almost 30 years now. So you can guess I was like 2.5. Sorry. So no, I've been doing like, I did lots of competitions like in the late 80s, early 90s. And then I didn't do anything until 96. And I came up with the KISS Act in 96 and I did the French convention. And so I just performed there, got first prize, and I got the Grand Prix. And nobody has ever had a Grand Prix before with the card act. So it was totally unexpected again. And so people say, hey, you can do the Macmillan convention in London because it's international. And it was like a 3 months later, I was like, are you sure? I was like, okay, good. And I did Macmillan, and I got awarded there too. So I came back with the award, with an award there. So I was very happy about that award. So it was pretty cool because I love Macmillan Convention. I love this convention. It's a great convention. It was a great convention. So yeah. And then my friend said, hey, you're lucky because FISM is every 3 years and FISM is next year now. It's in 7 months. So you should do FISM now because you did national, you did London. Now you can do the international. I'm like, yeah, sure. That's funny. And so I did it because they pushed me and I was like, well, there's no way I can go back with something, but it's going to be a great experience anyway. And yeah, so I did it. And it was an amazing experience, of course. It's one of the only times in my life that I realized that my knees could bend both ways, which is impossible, by the way. I mean, your knees bend only one way. But I will always remember like walking behind that table and I felt my knees bending the other way because I was so scared and so emotional. I was like, oh my God, what is happening to me? So I did the Kiss Act. Were great. And so, and after I got awarded at FISM, I just got some great offers to perform not only in France anymore only, but all over the world. So it changed my life because I had a regular job at that time and I quit. I decided to quit and say, hey, I'm going to do that for 3 years. Wow. And in 3 years, I'll be a total has-been. There'll be new winners and these new winners will just tour the world just like I did for 3 years. But I said, I don't want to be an old bitter guy that says, I should have done it. In those 3 years, even for 3 years, it would have been worth it. And after 3 years, it got better. The 4th year and the 5th and the 5th and the 6th and the 7th. And here we go. It's like 21 years now. And yeah, I'm still there releasing products and touring the world and doing what I love most in the world, which is performing magic. So that was the story. But yeah, I just made it like very gradually, I would say, like national, this, and then, yeah, but that's the best advice I could give to everyone, especially like younger magicians. Say, yeah, don't think that you will go straight to FISM at 17 and win and this is going to be your job for the rest of your life. Well, nah, just make it reasonable every single time, step by step. And you have a new challenge. It's always nice to have a new challenge, like higher, bigger, better. And so, yeah. And finally, if you make it, fine. That's totally deserved it. So you deserved it, guys. Yeah.
This is a good question. You and I talked a little bit about this as well before. Comes in from Mike Miller. Will you be doing a lecture tour anytime soon in the U.S., particularly over on the East Coast? Do you have any plans on doing some lectures over here on this side of the pond?
Yes, indeed, yes. I plan to do some lecture tour probably in 2019. Now I'm coming more and more often in the US, so I'm doing like smaller, I would say, tours. So like 1 or 2 weeks. US is just such a big country, and I have so many friends there. So usually I'm like, when I go on the East Coast, I got my friends from the West Coast say, hey Boris, what about us? You should. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you're there already. Yeah.
Yeah, so I could be like an entire year, and just do all the state and see all my friends and do all lectures, which would be great, of course. Yeah. So I'm just, So yes, Mike, I will hopefully do it next year, for spring. Usually 4F is a good time because it's in April. So I always try to, attach something around. So I will in November, I will be, doing some stuff on the East Coast and if Mike, probably Philly and a few other places on the East Coast.
All right.
In April and August, I will do a few on the West Coast. So it's gonna be LA, the Castle, LA, Fresno, Vegas. So trying to see everyone.
Spreading the love.
But especially now with Sensations, I really want to show the material because it's such a fun lecture to perform, and I really like the material there, so I want to show it. I want to share it.
The other good thing about the project is, that I do want to make sure that we cover, is that not only is it available as a 2 DVD set, it's also going to be available digitally, right? So people want to download it, and they don't want to buy the DVD for some reason, they can also get it digitally right away once it's released, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's a little over 3 hours.
Wow.
So you can have either 2 discs, or you can have download. But I just
Okay.
I should a maximum of stuff.
This is a nice thing from Mike Miller as well. He says Boris is so popular that while you were in Japan, you received flowers from a fan, and it shocked you. So you received. I'm sorry I didn't bring any flowers for you today, Boris. I'm so sorry. Should have known.
Oh, Mike, yes.
That's cool.
Mike, yes. I knew it would come up at some point because when you mentioned Mike Miller, this is a very famous story between us. Well, to make it really short, I was performing in Japan and Mike was with me, and it was for the Japan Cup a few years ago. And yes, we were at the table, I think we're having dinner, a little break, having a drink, and there's this delivery guy come with a big bouquet of flowers, big bunch of flowers for me. And I was like, okay, you're French, you're in Japan, there's a guy with flowers for you, there's a little card, you think, oh my God, what is that? And there's this little card, and it was a fan, and his fan is a ninja. So basically, I can say that being a magician, I got flowers in Japan from a ninja.
Shit, man.
And I met the guy. The fun thing is that I was in Melbourne in Australia like a few months after, or maybe in the next year, I don't remember exactly. And there's a guy in the street performing. And I'm like, oh, there's a street performer. I'm going to have a look at him. Yeah. And that was him. He just moved to Australia and he saw me and he started to bow on the floor. And he was like, oh my God, please don't do that. It's embarrassing. And he said, hey, Magic Ninja, it's me. And I'm like, oh my God, the flowers, that's him.
That's funny. Wow. Full
so now every time Mike Miller and I, we see each other, we always talk about the flowers from Magic Ninja.
When you come to Vegas, I'll have to bring some flowers to your lecture, all right? I'll do that. Bring a little bouquet.
Well, yeah, but flowers from a ninja, you have to do something like...
Yeah, I don't know how to beat that. I don't know how to beat that.
You have to find,
Hey, it's Vegas, man. It's Vegas. Come on, anything goes here.
Well, anything is possible there. Yeah. But what happens there, stay there. We know that.
This is a nice... actually, I want to get one other question before, and then actually, I'll say this too. Tiffany Allen, she says, besides winning FISM, what do you consider your greatest achievement in Magic? And that's a good question because you've done a lot, and you continue to do a lot. Do you know Tiffany? Because she's a new face. Do you know Tiffany?
Oh, yes.
You do.
I know her very well because she's my girlfriend.
Oh, well, all right then. Okay, well, hello, Tiffany. Hello there.
Thanks for the question, Tiff. I love you. Je t'aime.
Aww.
So
That's cute.
So yeah, so that's the reason also why I come to the US more often, because she's a female magician from the US. She's American.
Oh.
So that's
Very
good
cool.
Because yes, and as you said earlier, there would be like probably more lectures and tours in the US now, and you can thank Tiffany for that.
Nice.
So, greatest achievements, except dating her, I mean, I don't really know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It's, well, that's a tough question. Well, I think in the business, in Magic, I think, it's just, I think being able to, keep performing and keep coming with new stuff and new acts and new routines and releasing products over the years. Because I've seen like so many great magicians, and I admire them. And they just came up with like a couple of things and then boom, they just disappeared. We have not heard of them anymore. And it's like in every business. It's like in the show business, like singing, acting, and so sometimes I see like famous actors that just, were like in such popular movies, and now I see them. And some of them are like working at Walmart, or they're like, doing something completely different. And I'm like, well, they had their hour of glory, and they were, of course, and they are more famous than me. But I'm happy with what I do. I'm really happy just to be able to, over the last 20 years, being there in the business and trying to be as well respected as I can with my work, and trying to be as professional as I am, as I try to be, and just be there and over the time, and hopefully be there again over the next I don't know how many years, but I think that's for me a good achievement, especially in artistic career.
Yeah. I love it.
I like this idea.
I love it. I mean, it's just true. Yeah. I mean, you do what you love for a living. You can't get much better than that, right? I mean, geez.
Yeah. And and the good thing with magic is that, you can just do it like, over and over with time. So, I mean, I'm thinking of like dancers or like, athletes, and we all know that they have like a short career. They are under the spotlight in a much shorter time. And as magicians, we're lucky that we can, think about all these great magicians like Johnny Thompson, like living legends, and those people are, amazing people still, they're performing and consulting and being in the magic scene. I mean, that's a best example probably, but
I heard that.
Something huge, yes. That's a great achievement, yeah.
Well, thank you for answering that. I have another magic question. Who would have thought? Nigel wants to know, and this is something that's good for anybody. He's asking this specific for stage, but I think it would be great for anyone that's performing. And last week on the show that I do every week, we talked about ways to get over being nervous.
Mm-hmm.
People that are just starting out, they get nervous, whether it's doing the trick or whether it's being in front of people. I mean, it's interesting stuff. He wants to know, do you have any tips yourself on how to get over nerves for stage, or maybe just some general advice on getting over being nervous, because it happens, right? It does happen. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Yeah. I know exactly what it is because I'm kind of nervous. I mean, my friends who know me and who saw me backstage, they can see me walking back and forth like millions of times. And oh my God, yes, that's my way just to try to relax a little bit. So yeah, breathing exercise, of course, are also very important. It's very hard because I still fight this. I mean, I still have to fight it. I mean, I've not found like the miraculous solution, and I don't want to find it because one day if I don't feel nervous anymore, I will start to worry like quite much. And I would think, oh my God, does it mean I don't care anymore? And I think that's also why I'm nervous, because I care. I just want to be that performance, like if it's the last one, and be like, okay, well, I just want to give the best because, most of the time we work a lot at home and on new material and we spend like thousands of hours on something. Like the Kiss Act was like more than 3 years. When I did Butterfly Act, it was 5 years for like 8 minutes.
Wow.
And so you don't want to screw up any second, even if in 2 seconds when you perform 8 minutes after working 5 years on something. So at the same time, I'm like, yes, that's why also I try to convince myself. I say, Boris, we've worked a lot on that. And that my best advice would be like, try to rehearse as much as you can. Just try to, process all the technique as much as you can so you can concentrate only on giving intention, giving emotion and about the presentation, and just pretend to be a real magician. So a real magician would never care about technique because he mastered them. He doesn't need to do anything. He does this, it happens. So just pretend to be that guy that you don't need to think about the technique anymore because you've done it like 10,000 times. And then you think about it and you're like, how can I screw up that thing? I mean, I've done it like 10,000 times. So no, it would be fine and it's going to work. And just try to focus on giving the best intention, the best emotion to people. And usually it works pretty well, I would say, because I would never really go on stage with something which is very fresh or very new, because then I would feel very nervous. Then I would think, oh my God, I did it 10 times already. I'm going to screw up because it's not enough.
Not ready. It's not ready. Yeah. No, that's very fair. I mean, if you're prepared, you know what you're doing, that's the last thing you need to think about. So yeah, I'll definitely carry over.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
This is another nice word. This is about one of the effects from the Sensation Project. This is from Simon. He says, hey, Boris, just want to say hey and how much I love to perform your pop. I use it all the time. So he's using it all the time. So
good.
Well,
that's great. Well, on Sensations, he's going to be able to learn iPop, which is the same effect, but with a borrowed deck and impromptu. So that's if you like pop, you should like iPop too. It's a little bit more technical, of course, but it's really worth it. And it's not difficult.
This was a good question I got in, and then we'll start to wrap things up here. We'll take a couple more questions because we're pushing 5 minutes to the hour.
Go ahead.
Our buddy Magni, and I believe he's French as well, and I want to tell you a quick story about this guy. I'm going to pop this question
Okay.
up. A couple weeks ago, we were doing this. This shows you the dedication on some of these guys. Here's a guy that he saw some, is it Mikame or Mikami? What is it? How do you pronounce that? Mikame?
Mikame? Yeah?
Yeah. There was like an estate of like a lot of different pieces, and it cost about the same amount it was going to cost him to buy a washing machine. And
Okay.
he was on here asking people, what should I do? Should I buy the washing machine or buy, and he ended up buying the Magic. So that's this guy. That's this guy. Yeah.
And he went for the Magic.
He went for the
right
Magic.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
He wants to know, and it can't be a Boris Wild interview without talking about the Mark deck. But he has a different kind of question, and then we'll talk about yours. What is your favorite Mark deck, Boris, except from your own? So there's a lot of different ones out there. Obviously, you're going to like your own. But do you have a favorite other than the one that you created for your own needs, obviously? So good question.
That's a very good question. Nobody has ever asked that question before.
Really?
And that's why I don't have an answer for it,
Okay.
I guess. Well, of course, I have a lot of them. And I've studied, the subjects as much as I could. And since I released mine in 2005, like factory printed, but I've been working on it since 97, so it's like 20 years. I've tried a lot of them. The only thing is that I cannot really answer that question because I have some specific needs, and the main specific need I have is that I want to be able to have a shuffle deck, and if anybody says, well, Mr. Magician, it's always the Queen of Hearts, but it doesn't work with the Three of Diamonds. And I want to be able to find the Three of Diamonds to produce it to whatever I need, but I want to be able to locate this Three of Diamonds and do something with it within the next few seconds. And so I've tried with other mark deck. And so I know that like there's like a fashion thing right now, which is more like edge markings. I mean, I just saw recently like lots of edge marking decks. But in my style and in like real conditions, it's not the kind of deck I can really use, honestly. And of course, these decks, don't have like white, borders around. So anything when you have like a triumph or anything with all the cards, mixed face up, face down, don't really work. So in my style, I use this a lot, and I cannot reuse those decks because of the white borders. So far, I've not really found one deck. And to be honest, I can tell you a funny story. Look, usually when there's a new deck, like there's a new mark deck coming out, and usually I take it, and the next gig I do, I use the deck.
Okay. All right.
And I try to see if I can manage with it.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, and I honestly, I struggle so much.
Fair, man.
Most of the time, I struggle a lot because I'm like, oh no, at that moment I can find no, I cannot find it in a spread in a 2 or 3 seconds because that's specific to my deck. I cannot do it. So I need to find other ways to bypass this just to use it in a different way. And then I realize, well, finally I'm just using it like pick a card, I look at the back, I know what it is, fine. But this is definitely not what you should do with a mark deck. I mean, yes, you can do it, but there's so many other things you can do with it. And using like Gaetan Bloom had this great work on invisible thread, and there's no levitation effect. It's always non-direct effect using invisible thread. So that's why I try to do it with mark cards too. I'm not using like straightforward. I do it from time to time, but most of the time I like to do it in a devious way so nobody can think about that. So yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could give an answer, but it's
all good. I mean, you create stuff out of necessity too, which is a good point. Bringing this back around to you creating material and putting out products. It's stuff that you create because it meets your demands. You have certain things you want to do, and so you create stuff to do that, which is great.
Well, for the mark deck, yes, because we can maybe talk about something later this year, but for the mark deck, it just came one day that some guys just say, "Oh, can you produce it for aces?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I started just to spread the card face up and trying to, steal the aces one by one secretly and just produce them. And I produced them. And the guy is like, yeah, you didn't understand me. I was like, yeah, I produced the aces. So he put them back inside the deck. He shuffled. He gave me the deck face down and he said, well, produce the aces, but please don't look at the faces because that's not fair. I know what you're doing. And I couldn't do it, obviously. And I went back home so mad at me, so frustrated. It was many years ago. I was a kid, and I was like, "Damn it! I couldn't, do the things that the guy wanted me to do. I'm a magician. I should be able to do anything he asked me." And it was like, I would say, like the very, very beginning of thinking, hey, how can I use a system of marking that I can do that without looking and finding it out so quickly? And now I came up with the deck. But, as you say, it came from struggling in real life and find a solution to it.
Okay. We've got one last question, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. And then I have a comment. Let's get to the comment first. Mr. Mark Mason's here. Mr. Mark Mason.
Oh, hey, bonjour, Mark.
He says, "Hi, Boris. I hope all is well. Thanks for the help last week. I managed to get home." Well, I'm glad he got home because that's
great. Yes. Oh, he got an adventure on one of his tour.
Big fan.
And yes, I was helping him in a way, but I'm glad he's back home now. Mark, good for you. Happy for you, my friend.
Always good to see him. And here's one last question specific to your Any Card Any Birthday, which you put out a little while ago. Hussein wants to know, can I perform it without a jacket? Do you need a jacket to perform that, or do you have workarounds for that?
Well, mainly you need the idea behind Any Card Any Birthday is that you don't have a table and you can perform it strolling anywhere in the big hall. So you have to have stuff on you. And that's the main reason and motivation, of course, also to put a jacket rather than also being a little part of the method. But if you know that, it's mainly a requirement, I would say. I know that there's a guy one day at one of my lectures when I was performing Any Card Any Birthday came to me and he said, I do it with a vest. So he was not using like a jacket, he was using a vest. So he just made like a custom-made vest. So he got like pockets in his vest. So in order to perform ACAB and in order to have specifically the method, of course, to produce at the end the prediction deck. So I know that some people try to find ways to bypass the jacket. Still, I think the jacket is like the most natural and easy way to perform it. But if it's not your style on your clothing style, I would say, someone I know that can do it with a vest. So that can be another option.
All right. Mm-hmm. Can we end on one last question? I keep doing this to you, but this will be it.
Yeah, no, sure.
I like this one because it's a good way to get out of this, which is good. You've been around this stuff for a very long time. I've been around this stuff for a little while too. Valio is one of our younger viewers from Bulgaria. And this is something I'd love to ask you because it could help the young people and the older people too. He wants to know, and I'm going to bring his comment up on the screen. Hi, Boris. What advice can you give to the junior masters of magic? Thanks from our buddy. He goes by Mafia Boy, but his name is Valio. So basically, to the young people that are magicians, or let's just say people that are new to magic in general, what's the general advice you would give to someone that's just getting into this stuff? And that'll end today's show based on that, because I like that question. That's a good one.
So you mean like for younger magician, how they can break through, or is it more like how they can?
I think basically just what would be some general magic advice you would give someone that is new to this stuff? If you could go back in time and tell yourself, Boris, just do this, and this will help you. What would you say to young Boris back in the day?
Well, the thing is that young Boris didn't have everything you have today, like all this streaming thing and the awesome videos and yes, which is true, like access to information, access to secrets, access to magic in general. I remember that time I went to this magic shop in Belgium called Mephisto, and I had to make a call with a landline and make an appointment and then it was like a house. We didn't see anything from outside, and inside was like all the magic stuff. So yeah, it's a little different today, but I said something a little earlier, which is going step by step. And I think it's something that I would recommend. I see that lots of kids are being very excited, and some of them now are really good, much younger than, like me when I started magic. Yeah, it took me like a few years before getting that level that some kids have nowadays, and they're only like 13, 14. So especially Asia, I went to Taiwan, and like the average age of the people at the convention was like 21, like average age.
Wow.
I'm saying.
Wow.
And I saw some kids doing like incredible, amazing stuff, very young. And so, of course, because they're, better and more, knowledgeable, younger, they might think that they can, go faster. And yes, of course, they can be a little faster, but still to go step by step. I mean, I did competitions, for instance, just to be known. I think it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Competition are like just a great window just to show your magic, show your capability in magic, yes, and just be maybe noticed. And some people say, hey, I like your stuff. Maybe I will produce a video with you. Oh, do you do lectures or blah, 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 blah. And yes, and you can make a couple of contacts there, and you do 2 more things, and you get a couple of more contacts to these 2 things. And it's how you build your network. And so, yeah, that's probably what I would recommend. The other thing is for me, and that's why I think it worked for me, be different.
Well said.
Because if you're different, you're unique. And the problem is that, yes, nowadays the access to information and to YouTube and everything sometimes can make clones, or people get inspired, and you see exactly where this guy comes from. And then you don't really see the difference between that guy and the other guy. And sometimes you get this new guy coming with something completely unique, completely different. And you're like, wow. And this guy obviously will be more successful because he's doing something that nobody has done before.
Yep.
And so first time I was in Australia, it's a quick story, but first time I went to Australia to get booked, in Sydney, I performed. And so, and it was fun because I was mainly booked to do my Physimac, the Kiss Act, which is 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And it took me 27 hours to get there, with a layover in Hong Kong or whatever it was. So basically the full trip was 54 hours just to perform 6 minutes and a half, I would say. And I thought, this is crazy. I mean, who's crazy here? Me doing that or the guy booking me? And in fact, I just realized, I don't know. Nobody's crazy here. It's just, why am I there in that plane for 27 hours to perform? Well, because there's no one else doing the Kiss Act, and there's no one else closer to do that. And because it's so different, so unique, that they want the act. And the only way to get it is just to fly me over to Australia. So, and I will always, remember that on my way back home, is thinking, what am I doing here? Why am I doing that? I'm like, well, yes, it's just because no one else does it. So be unique, be different, go step by step, and just show a maximum, show to a maximum of people your thing. Especially now, things can be viral very quickly and quicker than before. You can make a quick video and you get millions of views in a few days.
Yeah.
And but not everybody has this. So step by step. It's always a good advice.
So again, guys, today we've been talking all about Boris's brand new 2 DVD set. I'm going to pop it back up on the screen real quick so we can take one last look at it here, called Sensations. I believe it goes on pre-sale next Friday. So you got the exclusive today. You got to see the trailer earlier on today's. Oh, there it is too. You're holding that up. I didn't realize you. Bam, bam, bam. There it is. Cool.
That's the one.
There
So you got it's 2 discs. You can see here.
Awesome.
It's about 3 hours. And yes, I would like to just point out that's beautiful picture by Zachary Bellamy. And it's just, usually you see me smiling, and here it's a little different. I love this picture because we wanted to do something different. So.
Cool. And again, if you just joined us, some of the material on there was also presented as a lecture at the Magic Circle. A lot of the top magicians in the world saw the material and said it was one of the best lectures they've ever seen. You're going to get a lot of really, really strong material on this brand new project. And Boris Wild's a name that when you see, you should listen and you should pay attention, especially if you're into this type of work, because, he's been around this stuff. And you do have something else coming out later this year. I don't want to go into it too much because it's not going to be out for a little while, but you do have another project coming out. I think you said in August, or maybe little later that time of year, or?
Yeah, I think it should be, yes. Yeah. So far it's planning for August, so it's going to be another 2 DVD sets.
Okay.
And yes.
Any hints here, any exclusives on what we might find on this new project?
Oh, okay. Am I allowed to say it?
That's up to you, man. I don't know if Owen's going to kick your butt for that or not, but that's up to you and Owen.
Well, yes. It's gonna be yes. I mean, I just realized we talked a lot about the Mark deck earlier,
Yeah.
and I'm a little known for it. And I just realized that I released stuff, of course, on the Mark deck, but I didn't really release something on video related to
Right.
the Mark deck.
Right.
So we thought it might be interesting to do some kind of Boris Wild Mark deck project.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, and yes, with some
Cool.
new material, some updated material from, the thing I've performed now for 20 years.
Cool.
But it's the kind of thing that I do for a living, and I just put the best there. So yes, so
All right.
I'm very, very happy with that. And I saw things from it, and the production value, just like for Sensations.
Cool.
I'm just amazed by the production value of these 2 DVD sets.
Wait.
But Sensations first coming here, and in August there will be another one. And I'm very excited about this 2 too. So both of them should be
good. It's a good year for Magic, man. It's a good year for Magic. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Boris, we'll wrap things up. I do want to ask you one last thing for you to share. It's not a question. If people want to keep up with you after this, when it comes to whether it's social media or a website, I always want to make sure the guest gets a chance to let people know where they can find them. So if people want to find you on any of those places, how can they keep up with Mr. Boris Wild?
Well, of course, Facebook, obviously. So, yes, I don't have a fan page so far. I've never really done the fan page, but,
All right.
but you can see most of my public posts are on my, so Facebook/Boris Wild. Yes, my website, obviously, it's boriswild.com. And then, yes, there you can get all, you can see most of my, recent, news, I would say, or videos or
Cool.
TV appearances and stuff. And if there's anything new, it's already there. And if you're more interested in some kind of, other creations, I released, there's a store there too. So just have a look, bro, and see if you enjoy anything. So yeah, anything's there.
Wait.
Everything's there.
All right. Well, thank you. We did go a little bit over time today, so thanks for the extra time. It is appreciated. And
it's fine. I was happy.
We're all very excited to see you popping up with some new stuff, and hope that our paths cross sooner than later. You're always a really fun guy to be around, so looking forward to seeing you in person, sir, one of these days here. So.
Oh, yes, we will. I'm sure it will happen soon.
Yeah, I have a feeling it will too. All right, Boris, well, thank you again for your time, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon because you do have more stuff, so let's do this again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. So thanks, Luke, and thanks to everyone at Murphy's Magic Supplies. So, guys, you're great. And everybody would just, watch, and we'll watch this live again. So, awesome questions, comments. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. I'm going to wrap this up right about now. I do want to say my goodbyes to all of you as well. Boris Wild, thanks to him for joining us. Thanks to you guys for joining us, whether you're watching live right now or you're watching a little bit later, checking out this new stuff. As you do know, though, you can always drop in your comments even after the fact if you have some other things. We do keep up with what's going on over there. And, so that's going to do it for this week. Keep an eye out for the brand new Sensations 2 DVD set. It's also going to be available as a download if you want to get it instantly when it does come out. That will be out there for you. Some really, really strong material from one of the good guys in Magic. Had a pleasure speaking with him, and it's always a pleasure to be here for you guys each and every week. We will not be streaming live tomorrow. We're normally live on Wednesdays, but we will be live next Wednesday back for you guys, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, as always. So that's going to do it. My name is Luke Dancy. Thanks, guys, for all the support, all the great feedback, and, of course, to Mr. Boris Wild. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, guys. I will catch you next time.